Hi everyone, I'm Marissa Runyon. Welcome back to ET Style. I'm here today with celebrity makeup artist Lisa Aharon, and she is here today to show us how she created this beautiful look on me today, but for Rachel Brosnahan at the Emmys. So not only does Lisa work with Rachel Brosnahan, she also works with celebrities such as Anna Kendrick and Florence from Florence and the Machine. So lots of amazing inside tips and tricks today. Thanks for having me.
So we're not missing a beat. It's the day after the Emmys. We dragged you in here tired and all because we want to hear everything that you did last night for Rachel. So tell me what we start with.
All right, so the beginning of every makeup has to start with good skin, as we were discussing earlier. And I need to give a shout out to all the facialists out there that help us makeup artists do our magic at the end of the day. So Joanna Vargas, thank you for turning out Rachel's skin. Then I get into doing a light application of foundation.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I used this Chantecaille Future Skin on Rachel last night, and our concern is always just keeping her face really fresh and youthful and not too heavy. She's got gorgeous skin. All right, I do love to work with brushes. I really prefer them, and the technique is in a patting motion. So I like to just press it into the skin rather than sweep it. And I like to start in the center of the face, moving outwards, blending into the hairline. And just use little amounts as you go. I feel like a lot of people tend to overuse product, and not only are you wasting the product, but you've just got too much to work with on your face at one time. So I'm starting all the way down the center of the face, where we tend to get a lot more redness and need a little extra coverage. What's great about this foundation is it's buildable. I go in with concealer afterwards, because then it becomes very apparent where I need to apply it.
So the name of the game is keeping a light hand and only using the product you need.
Yes.
Even for an award show, which I love.
You know, I think that for award shows, I do find myself using really thin layers of product and taking the time to let them absorb between applications. It makes a really big difference. It does make it last all night.
So you were mentioning that you weren't really sure of the plan. So is that something you usually do with her? You just kind of wing it or feel it out as you go, or do you have a plan before?
You know, I feel like it's different every single time. Rachel always has great ideas of how she wants to look, and often will have a reference of something that she's been really into. And you really do need that inspiration. So often it's the clothing, obviously the dress, especially if it was as gorgeous as her red gown last night.
I mean, that Oscar de la Renta was just
it was
so
made for
stunning.
Sorry.
And on her skin,
yeah.
So beautiful.
I know. I've been in tears for the last 24 hours. And I get goosebumps thinking about it. So yeah, it was, last night I feel like it was really about the dress.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do your concealer now. And something that I think a lot of people don't realize is that you can't always use the same color of concealer under your eye as you do to cover blemishes on your face.
Which I don't realize. I think I make that mistake.
It just gives you this, a lot of the time, a one-dimensional effect, which you end up having to compromise with too much contouring and highlighting. Or it draws attention to the dark circles under your eyes. And again, I like to just use small amounts and pat it in. And also, whenever possible, I try and leave out this crease area right underneath the eye, because it tends to gather there.
So smart.
So, you know, you don't always need to have like a completely perfect canvas all the way up to the eyelash.
All the tricks. I love it.
So to create some shape and bring out the natural dimensions of Rachel's face, I like to use this Chantecaille bronze pressed powder. It's actually, I think, meant to be a pressed powder, but I find it to be the perfect shade for like a really subtle contour. This will be the perfect color for you too.
Awesome.
And then just dust off the excess. Again, like, just do yourself a favor and work with less product. It makes it so much easier to manage. So I'm just gonna give you a tiny bit just in the back of the cheekbone. Really like brings out your cheekbones so beautifully.
That's a great tip for fair-skinned girls.
to add a little warmth without overdoing it.
And same with blush. If you just pat it on, it helps to not give a streaky finish and blends it right into the foundation. And then just blend it into the contour.
Yes, that's what I loved about Rachel's look last night, is that it was very classic. So even for someone like myself who has a totally different, skin color or skin tone, I'm so curious. I'm like, can I pull this off? How do I do it? How do I wear the red lip?
Of course you can. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I feel like there's so many rules in makeup, and I live to break them. It's just, I think you'd look stunning in an orange red, and that was what we did. Do you want to jump into the lip?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I always like to start with the lipstick first and then go back in with the lip liner. Unless I'm redrawing a lip, it just tends to be a little too prominent. If you're going for that look, great, but last night we weren't.
So tell me about this lipstick you're using.
Oh, this is Chantecaille's new lip veil. It's in the shade Tiger Lily. And as you can see, it's like almost like a fluorescent orange to the eye. It goes on a little bit less bright, but it really stood true to like the more orange red that we were trying to keep it in the feel of. Maisel's gorgeous, but that's a very 50s lip she wears on the show, and we just didn't want it to be confused with her character. We wanted to keep her really young and fresh, and I thought that this was the perfect tool for that.
It's such a beautiful color, and that's why I wore red today, because she was wearing red, and it's not usually something that's expected to see a red gown with a red lip that's in a slightly different shade, but it worked so well.
Yeah, I feel like I don't love to match things. I'm just going to start by applying this in the center of your mouth and then work to the outer edges. This has got a great amount of pigment. It's not a matte by any means, but it's not too shiny or too glossy. And I find that with a lot of sheer lipsticks, it's not enough pigment for me, whereas this one, it really does hold. I'm gonna just get you to press your lips together a little bit so it transfers and just presses in. Stunning. So now I'm gonna go in and just kind of reinforce it with this lip definer in Daring, which is the perfect shade to complement Tiger Lily. I'm just going to sketch on the outer edge of your lip. I'm actually sketching it in on sort of your natural lip line. I'm not overlining in any way. And then I'm going to work my way inwards just to make sure that it doesn't look like a line. It does also just add a tiny bit of brightness and a little bit more pigment to the lip. And open slightly. Get into the corners a little bit so it doesn't drop off. I find that a lot of people, when they put on their lipstick, kind of forget to get into the mouth and it just drops off on the corners. So I think to keep a red lip really fresh, modern, clean, it's just really focusing on keeping the skin really natural and fresh and dewy, and then not too much on the eye. This works perfectly with the eye makeup you had on today, because you have just a tiny bit of liner, you have a bit of contour around the eyelid to frame your eyelid, your brows are done really naturally, and you've got just like a great one coat of mascara on. It's really simple. Just keep the focus on the lip. That's my 2 cents.
That's the 2 cents that we need.
I mean, your cheekbones look beautiful, but I do love a highlight. This is Chantecaille's Liquid Lumiere in Brilliance. It's got a hint of
pretty
gold to it. A little bit of chapstick just to like make sure she had enough moisture in the lip after I sketched in the lip liner, because that makes it a tiny bit drier. Just like threw on a little hint of it in the center.
Rachel, we just shared a chapstick.
This is Rachel's. I'm sorry, Rachel. You left it in the room. Just before she ran out the door, she threw this on as her last little bit. So, for mascara, I love this Chantecaille mascara also. I use it myself. After having a baby, my eyebrows and my eyelashes started to get really thin. And this one has ingredients in it that really help to moisturize, hydrate your lashes, and thicken them up. So,
is this what you're wearing right now? You have great lashes.
Thank you. No, I can't live without this.
It's so good.
I do have to say though, I still have this trusted
one?
favorite.
Oh, which
it's
one's
the
that?
Maybelline Lash Discovery, the skinny brush.
This one looks well loved.
I mean, this is all the creams on my hands. This is actually pretty new, but you know, you've got.
Everyone has that product.
So I love to use this on the lower lashes
Oh.
because that's where you get a lot of the transfer. It's not
Right.
the top lashes that are hitting underneath your eye, it's the lower lashes. So doing a waterproof coat on the bottom and the bottom only is how I maintain that from transferring.
That's so smart. Oh, I just caught a glimpse of myself in the monitor. I'm digging this lip color.
It's so fun, right?
I need to switch up my game. I need to like take a risk, wear a good lip. So I think I'm now a red lip convert. I am loving this look.
I'm so glad.
This was so much fun. I even parted my hair the same way that Rachel had last night to try to get the full vibe. But this was amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time with you.
Thank you. This was so much fun. So follow us on ET Style, subscribe to our channel, and keep in touch with us for all the latest in fashion and beauty trends. We'll see you next time.